In today's gaming age, remasters of older games aren't unheard of, usually to cash in on some nostalgia, or bring some classics to newer consoles, or re-release it on a new generation of consoles to take advantage of the more powerful hardware, or possibly a mix of all of these. Now some examples of these include Dead Rising, Call of Duty 4, Resident Evil, Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot etc. But in Rockstar Games' case, Bully was one of the first games they remastered to bring Bully from the PlayStation 2 to the then newer generation of consoles, which at the time was the Nintendo Wii, Xbox 360, and of course PC, but that isn't a console. And they marketed this under enhanced graphics and some fresh new content which was not seen on the PlayStation 2 version of the game. Now Bully as a whole is often regarded as a fantastic game, with a surprisingly large fanbase for a game that hasn't had a sequel for nearly 13 years, and is often regarded as a real classic when brought up when discussing classic PlayStation 2 games, and it's all rightfully earned praise. However, the remaster named Scholarship Edition is actually one of the worst remasters that I've ever seen. Despite being a more enhanced version, the game was a massive step down compared to the original, which was then the last generation versions. And before some people assume that I hate Bully and I'm only doing this to piss off a fanbase, like I somehow did with that Bully MP video, you couldn't be more wrong, because I'm a massive fan of Bully, and I've been making all kinds of content on it for years, like beta stuff, praising the game, and the occasional harsh criticism, and this video is definitely going to be one of my more critical videos on it. Now typically with remakes or remasters, they're usually more updated versions of the game which fix issues that plague the originals and add some new features which can really make a game feel new in some ways. However, when Rockstar released Bully Scholarship Edition, they did the exact opposite and caused a lot more issues than was needed. Now some of the issues that plagued Bully Scholarship Edition upon its launch were game breaking for many players on the PC and Xbox 360 versions. For example, if you played the PC version and your PC had more than 2GB of RAM, the game would experience memory leaks where the world would load in and quickly deload, and if you turned the camera around, the entire world would despawn. And when you spoke to Dr. Crabblesnitch, halfway through the first mission, the entire game would go into an endless loading loop. Now as this was the first mission of the game, you can kind of see why many PC gamers were annoyed because they paid money for a brand new game they couldn't even play. And as any PC gamer knows, your system needs to be excessive so you can actually play the newest games anyway. So as expected, many of these gamers had over 2GB of RAM. Now on the Xbox 360 versions of the game, it would just randomly crash or drop frames randomly. Like you could just be playing the game normally, then cuts to a black screen, and it just crashes there and then. Or the game would just go down to about 10 FPS and then back to 30, maybe back down to 18, then back to 30 again, and then maybe another crash. But do you know what the best thing about this is? Rockstar actually claimed that the issue was only on older Xbox 360 models and they didn't even bother testing Bully on the older consoles. Like with PC gaming it's a bit more forgivable because everybody's setup is different. But with consoles there's only usually a small amount of models with the same specs. Now that is actually quite lazy. Now thankfully Rockstar did release a patch for Bully on PC and Xbox, but that didn't solve everything. Like performance was still very dodgy on Xbox and PC regardless of setup. Now thankfully Bully Scholarship Edition wasn't as terrible as Saints Row 2 or GTA 4's PC launch, but it still was pretty awful. Now past a single patch, Rockstar have never bothered updating Bully themselves, so the crashing issue on PC was brought up once again following the release of Microsoft Windows 10, where no matter your setup, Bully would always crash. With or without mods, clean install or not, low end or high end, the game would crash after about 5 to 20 minutes gameplay. Now of course I would have given Rockstar the benefit of the doubt here as future OS compatibility can never be truly guaranteed. But the thing is, as said, they never actually bothered updating Bully past the original patch. Like GTA 4 got an update on its 10th anniversary to make it more compatible with Windows 8 and Windows 10, among other fixes, like fixing some missions that are more compatible with 60 FPS, and of course removing some of GTA 4's most iconic songs. But Bully was just forgotten about and had to be manually fixed by Silent, a modder who's made other fixes for other Rockstar games on PC. Now as a PC gamer myself, and I'm pretty sure any PC gamer watching can agree, this is probably one of the worst things a game developer can do, because people buy games to entertain themselves, not have a headache to find out they can't actually play the game. And I'm pretty sure we've all refunded games ourselves because of issues like that. For example, I've refunded games like Bioshock before because I bought it and it didn't have any sound. Anyway, I can imagine so many people have refunded copies of Bully just because Windows 10 would not work with it. It's just annoying and it shows how neglected Bully is, and this definitely has hurt Bully's reputation on PC and has kept many people away, especially when people ask about getting Bully on PC. Now that's not all of the issues. Even though I've been bitching about this for the past 2 minutes, this is not all of the issues. Some of the audio files in the game were actually really screwed up and were either ear rape or insanely low quality. The best examples of these are Pinky's line in Carnival Date and the Candidate theme. Now don't worry, you won't need to turn your volume down much.
Oh, cool! great date, Jimmy. Oh, cool! Thanks, Jimmy. It's so cute. Thanks for a great date, Jimmy.
On the Scholarship Edition case, Rockstar advertised new missions and classes. However, most of this content was just cut content from the PlayStation 2 version of the game, insanely basic stuff, and completely buggy as all hell. So let's go over one of the major changes that Scholarship Edition brought. At the beginning of Chapter 3, we see our first change, as we have a new side story involving Jimmy and a drunken Santa, and this lasts about 4 or so missions, which is, fair enough, not too long, not too short. Now, all 4 of these missions are without a doubt the worst missions I've ever played. For example, Balls of Snow, the first mission in Chapter 3 instead of Jealous Johnny, has Jimmy doing another candidate style mission, except without the threat, challenge, or the fun of it. Like for example, in the candidate you have to protect Ernest, however despite the main mission cutscene implying Jimmy would defend this homeless alcoholic against townies, this just doesn't happen. They just walk up and down, up and down, up and down. They don't actually do anything, and there's no actual way to really fail the mission other than, well, just to hit somebody else who isn't a kid. Also, this mission actually has a chance to softlock your game, at least temporarily. For example, if one of the NPCs bugs out and throws a snowball at you, and it hits you, Jimmy will sort of just freeze in place. You can only just rotate, but you can't throw any more those snowballs. Now, if this happens, you can either just wait for the timer to run out, where you can regain control of Jimmy, or you can just completely reload the save game. Now, the second mission, Miracle on Bulwark Street, can actually be beaten in less than 30 seconds as you can skip all of the objectives in the mission. I'm not even joking, I'll even do a full playthrough of this mission right now and time it, and no, I'm not a speedrunner and I never will be.
And what would you like from Santa
Come
this
on,
year?
come on, step right up, get your picture taken with Santa Claus. Come on, kiddies, tell them what you want for Christmas.
I'll have to check my list. Oh, my palace! Mrs. Claus spent all evening painting that!
Now, Nutcracking is just an extended version of music class, which I'll get onto later. Anyway, this is just about 3 minutes worth of Christmas carols and without doubt the easiest thing ever, and you'll probably pass this mission by the time you're halfway through the second song. Now thankfully this one doesn't have any game breaking issues or crashes or anything like that, it's just really tedious and really easy. And the final mission, of course, is Rudy the Red-Nosed Santa, which is actually the most stable of the bunch, excluding, well, Nutcracking, which is actually saying something because there's actually a chance for Rudy, or the kids in the mission, to slide in the air or down the toilet or something like that. And not to mention, once the Santa story is done, you realise it was the absolute definition of filler, because the game suddenly goes back to the Greaser story and nobody ever mentions this again. Now, I won't repeat my character critique on this, but basically I hate this edition, it's just so forced and it's nothing more than filler. Like at the beginning, Jimmy gets asked by Peanut to help Johnny Vincent, but then that entire story is thrown aside for this crap storyline that should have only been a side mission, preferably for Christmas. You know, like how the big prank was only available on Halloween. I also personally don't like forced holidays in games too much, unless it's short or it's relevant to the story somehow, because I feel forced holidays feel terrible out of season and doing Christmas carols in June is just that. Like, as a Brit, it's just so out of place hearing jingle bells and all that when, the sun is scorching hot outside. I know for any Australians watching that's normal. I'll admit towards Christmas the stuff is a bit more bearable. But let's be real, there's only a very tiny amount of players who conveniently got to the Christmas stuff in December. And I didn't mind Christmas in the original game much because it was just a case of go to the office, pick up a new shirt. That was it. You weren't forced to just babysit this Santa homeless guy person, whatever it is, It's just a case of get up, Jimmy Hopkins, come to the office, blah blah blah, pick up your present, done. That was it. Back to the main story. It wasn't overstaying its welcome, could be done in less than 20 seconds. If that. And no, I don't mind it in modern games either, like say Christmas in GTA 9 or St. Patrick's Day in Call of Duty, because those themes are a temporary nice change and they usually don't overstay their welcome, usually disappear in a week or so after that specific holiday ends. So let's cover the rest of the Scholarship Edition missions because all of these are just equally as terrible, broken and bad. Now the next Scholarship Edition mission we're going to take a look at is the Collector. Now a brief snippet of this mission's cutscene appeared in the Christmas trailer for the PlayStation 2 version of the game, which in a weirdly funny way came out about 2 months after the original PlayStation 2 release, but this mission only appeared in the Scholarship Edition. Now in Buddy Scholarship Edition, this mission is found in blue skies, but the entire cutscene takes place in New Coventry, much like the Christmas trailer does. And then it starts off in blue skies again. Now this mission doesn't even have any mission specific music either, and the entire mission is just grab a bike and go back. It's just flat out garbage. Now another bit of cut content from the PlayStation 2 version of the game is the mission Discreet Deliveries, which also made an appearance during Buddy's third PlayStation 2 trailer. Anyway, this has Jimmy delivering stuff for Dr. Watts, however this mission is insanely buggy. Like once you meet Donald, he is invincible, and no, I don't mean attack him and you'll fail type, I mean full on invincible, nobody can hit him. Okay, that's a bit weird, but once you deliver the product to someone, your camera completely glitches out and it will just stay locked onto them. And once again, no mission specific music at all. Now between this mission and the collector, they actually do feel like test missions to make sure that storing bikes and delivering stuff works. Now you know how Jimmy can smash up gnomes around the map? Well, in a very, very cheeky move which I do consider false advertising, Scholarship Edition made this into a mission. Sort of. Allow me to explain. In Chapter 2 you can start a mission called Small Offences, where a midget is offended at the gnomes. Fair enough, it does give us a bit of a reason to why Jimmy's vandalising people's property. But the thing with this is, there's no mission at all, you see. It's just a cutscene. For something that already existed in the PlayStation 2 version of the game, and stuff that's already unlocked from Chapter 1. And even if you smash all the garden gnomes, there's no actual closure to this mission. So Rockstar actually had the nerve to market this 1 minute cutscene as a bonus mission for Scholarship Edition. I genuinely feel that's dodgy as hell and borderline false advertising, if not completely false advertising, you know. So on the back of the cover, Rockstar also advertised that there are 4 new characters, which, you know, does sound great. Do we actually get some new storylines with these people? Or new click? Well, no. The 4 characters that are advertised here are not even big characters, and 5 of them are just completely irrelevant. The 4 exclusive characters are Rudy, Miss Peters, Mr. Matthews, and I have no fucking idea who the 4th is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be the elves? Or Santa? Now these characters don't even have names, and it's worth mentioning that even if you do include the elves and Santa, that makes 6 new characters, not 4. Because, you know, there's 2 elves. And that's why I said 5 earlier. I don't even know where they got the 4 from. Maybe Rockstar themselves realised Santa and the elves weren't relevant at all. Anyway, as much as I hate Rudy the Bum Santa, he's probably the only character worth advertising for his addition to the story, as much as I don't like it. Now, aside from Rudy, all of these characters were near enough dead. Miss Peters and Mr. Matthews are only here for the Scholarship Edition exclusive classes, while the elves only appear in 2 missions, and Santa only appears in 1. Oh, also, before I forget, you know how Rockstar advertised enhanced graphics? Well, this is true, for PC and Xbox 360. If you bought this on the Wii, you basically had the PS2 graphics, just with some better shadows. I don't even know if that qualifies as enhanced graphics or not, but I do think that is damn pushing it like that gnome cutscene as a mission. Now, onto the more positive side, the classes are a very welcomed addition and they do feel more complete and fleshed out more. Our Scholarship Edition exclusive classes are Biology, Music, Geography and Math, and each have their own unique minigames. Like Geography class is where you have to guess which flag goes where, and Music you have to stay in beat. Biology is a race against time to dissect an animal, and Math is just quickfire math questions. Now these were great for the most part as they fit into the game seamlessly and do offer something new. But aside from Geography, all the class rewards do feel rushed. In the original classes you get rewards that benefit you and how you play, like better socialising skills, more health from kissing, etc. But the new classes, minus Geography I'll get into why in a minute, only give you exclusive but useless clothes to wear. There's actually no benefit to completing these classes or wearing the outfits. Now Geography class did take this in the right direction as completing them gave you HUD icons for collectibles around the map, for stuff like rubber bands, G&G cards and gnomes. Now this is rewarding because it makes finding the damn rubber bands 10 times easier, like you don't have to look up buddy or rubber band locations online because you already do have the locations on your map completely offline. You still get clothes, but these rewards give you a reason to attend Geography and beat the class, because it makes the hidden Rockstar collectible stuff much less tedious. I personally think Geography class surpasses all the others because of the reward to difficulty ratio. Like I'll admit I struggled in 2009 when I had no internet, so beating this was damn relieving to see the gnomes marked on my map. Now Scholarship Edition, or at least Wii and the Xbox versions of the game, also brought multiplayer. However, this was not online or even local co-op like GTA San Andreas on the PS2 had. Instead it's just generic class minigames with Jimmy and Gary. And most of these are already minigames that are available in single player, but thankfully they're changed enough so you're not just replaying English free with a friend. Now while a bit disappointing, I'll admit that I love the alien easter egg that's only visible in the co-op biology class, which is a somewhat rare spawn. I can't help but feel that this is Rockstar's way of mocking the myth hunters from GTA and Buddy who believe that aliens and UFOs could be found around Los Santos and Bulworth. Anyway, one of the few things you can compare Buddy and GTA 5 on is how they were both remastered for the next generation of consoles, as they were both released towards the end of their original respective console life. However, thankfully Rockstar handled GTA 5 on Xbox One and PS4 fantastically, and it does show. Like, I'm going to compare them both, but only how their remasters are handled, as they're both completely different games in their own ways to actually be compared, if you know what I mean. Anyway, GTA 5's next gen ports added quite a lot of small but definitely great features. For example, there's much more traffic around Los Santos. All of the DLC cars from the 360 and PS3, well, the ones that were released up until next gen came out, were added as street cars. There were more songs on the radio, there's first person mode and a bonus mini mission for Michael and a murder mystery. As well as actually patching a lot of glitches around the map, such as wall breaches that were exploited a lot in GTA Online at the time. Now, I'm not saying that Bully needed all of this stuff, especially as Bully was originally a 2006 game, but considering that Rockstar took advantage of the PS4 and Xbox One's hardware to make GTA 5 more fleshed out, more patched up and a bit more feature rich, they could have done the same with Bully. It's honestly a massive shame they didn't spend more time on developing it for the Xbox 360 and PC, so Bully could take advantage of the, then, more powerful hardware which actually held Bully back a lot on the PlayStation 2. Now overall, I do feel that Rockstar were looking for anything to shove into Scholarship Edition to market it as new content, and they just went with cut content from the PlayStation 2, which, actually speaking of, I'll save the best for last. Now, many of us are very familiar with cut content for games, as after all, every game has it, and they're usually found by data mining the game's files, and of course Bully is no exception. However, the PC ports of Bully, Rockstar actually left in a lot of beta files from development. I'm not just talking about a few skins, one character or a weapon or whatever, I'm talking about nearly everything from the PlayStation 2's development. Now this might sound like a shameless plug, but check up any of my beta videos or anybody else's. There's so much cut content in this game you can actually get the gist of what Rockstar were planning originally. But at the same time, this stuff is so messy and so chopped up it's borderline impossible to restore any of it. It genuinely feels like Rockstar used an early PS2 build of Bully to work from for Scholarship. Maybe they were originally planning on giving Jimmy half of his unused voice lines back, or finding some ways to add in the deleted features from the PS2. Or maybe Rockstar just rushed it out the door for release, not really caring about the completely unused files that don't add anything other than pad out the game size. Also, nearly all of this beta stuff on the PC and Xbox versions isn't seen anywhere on the original PS2 disc, and that could be more proof that this version was rushed out the door to meet a release date. Now in closing, Scholarship Edition is without doubt one of the poorest excuses of a remaster to an otherwise absolutely legendary game. Rockstar could have done so much more with it to actually make it even better than the original version, like fixing some of the bugs or introducing some missions which tie into stories from the PS2 a bit better. You know, like the whole Ted vs Ernest selection, a bit more story between Johnny and Lola, or handling the townies a lot better in Chapter 5, etc. Now I do think it's incredibly lucky that Bully Scholarship Edition is the only version that's available on Wii, PC and Xbox, as if it was a separate edition of the game, you know, like how games nowadays have standard and deluxe editions and all that, I can honestly see a lot more people getting really annoyed after realising they wasted an extra 15 quid on something that's very basic at best. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to subscribe for more Bully content. If you want to support me in a more personal way, become a member of my channel. So that's it for today's video, thank you for watching.